We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories.
Before we enter into Dr. Know-It-All's lab, there is one rule. Please do not stare at his head.
I looked at Pete in a confused manner. Then I asked him, why would I stare at his head?
Just promise me you won't. Anyway, you'll see when he introduces himself.
Okay, I promise. I won't stare once we're in there. But I wasn't prepared.
Hello, I'm Dr. Know-It-All, because I know it all. And this is my lab. Pete, who is your friend? This is Tim, and he doesn't remember how he came to be here in Cartoonland. He needs your help.
Pete turned to me, but I just stood there in disbelief. Because Dr. Know-It-All was 3 feet tall, and his head looked like a big bulbous ball. He had no scalp, no hair, no skin on his head. His brain was exposed. All I could see were his pulsing blood vessels. It made his body look extra small because of this really big head. I was mesmerized. All I could do was stare.
Why are you staring at my head? That is rude. You need to leave my lab. No, I won't help you. Didn't Pete tell you the rule? No staring at my head. I can't help that my brain is really big. It busted out of my cranium because it could not be contained. And because of my big brain, I've ascertained all the knowledge that is and how I know it all. But I will not tolerate being stared at like I'm a zoo animal. Pete, take your friend home, where he belongs.
He pushed Pete and me out and slammed the door. He even sent drones to make sure we left. You could hear him going berserk in his lab. He was throwing things around like a madman. Pete looked at me and said,
Tim, I told you not to look at his head. He is really sensitive about it. He has a small man complex.
I know, but I couldn't help myself. It was just so big and weird. With his brain being exposed and the pulsating blood vessels. It was like a bad car wreck. I just couldn't look away. It's like his head was calling my name.
Well, now he may never help you. I guess it could be worse. He could have sent his robotic goons after us.
But Pete was wrong. Because this is exactly what he did. Even Dr. Know-It-All himself came out of his lab. This started the chase all over Cartoonland.
This is just a friendly reminder to please like and comment to let us know how we are doing so far. We would love to hear from you all. And if you're new, please subscribe and become a part of the PHS crew. And we thank you.
Pete and I tried our best to escape, to stay out of Dr. Know-It-All and his robotic goons' way. Dr. Know-It-All deployed talking, heat-seeking missiles to blow us up. When we did find somewhere to hide, all the objects would scream out, "They're over here!" and give us up. Everything was just running amok. Everywhere we went, Dr. Know-It-All would find us. Rather, if the hiding place was big or small, Dr. Know-It-All knew it all. After 15 minutes, I was tired of running and hiding. I turned to Pete and said, "Stop. No more of this cat and mouse game. I'm tired of being chased, and he keeps finding us anyway. All of this over me staring at his exposed big brain? Right here, on this hill, I will take my stand. No more running, dipping, jumping, and diving. No more hiding. I yelled out, "Dr. Know-It-All, here I am." And in a blink of an eye, Dr. Know-It-All, his robotic goons, and the talking heat-seeking missiles found us, just like that, in no time flat.
Haha, I found you. You can't ever escape from me. Now I'm going to blow you away into smithereens. So you and Pete need to say your prayers.
Suddenly, I could hear Pete's knees were knocking loudly, and he started sobbing and crying. Then Pete said,
Why, Tim? Did you have to stare at his head?
This made me feel bad. I turned to Dr. Know-It-All and said, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. I didn't know this would start a war. I just wanted to go home. Suddenly, Dr. Know-It-All said,
I accept your apology. That was what I needed. I will call off this hunt. No more salt. Now, how can I help you?
With a big smile on his face, like he forgot all about the chase. I was speechless. Dr. Know-It-All went from Hyde to Dr. Jackal. He was now calm, cool, and collected. Pete said,
Answer him quickly.
Okay, how do I exit Cartoonland and get back to my 3D reality? But I wasn't prepared for what he said to me. I was shocked and floored by Dr. Know-It-All. He said,
You don't. Here is where you belong. Because you have always been a cartoon. You were drawn.
No, that's impossible. This has to be a joke. I'm a real-life human being. I'm an animator. Drawing cartoons is my job. I created you all. I really thought you knew it all. Pete, he's just a fraud. Pete looked at me and said,
No, he's right. You are part of a cartoon strip. You were a drawing of the real animator. You were created from his head. We all are. Don't you remember? This is our cartoon bit. The misadventures of Pete and Tim and Dr. Know-It-All, our nemesis. He chases us all over Cartoonland. You always break the rules and look at his head. This prompts him to leave his lab to chase us like a madman. Then you apologize and we all become friends. On our last adventure, you were dropped off a building and landed on top of your head. You were knocked out, so we thought it was best to leave you there. That is where I found you. But I could tell you didn't remember me. You thought you were a real human being. So I pretended you were new. So I could take you to Dr. Know-It-All.
No, I don't believe that. That can't be true.
Okay. Ask yourself this. How did you get here in a cartoon if you're real then?
I couldn't answer that.
The real animator drew you in his image. You are a cartoon version of him. You are not a real man. You don't belong in 3D land. You belong here, in Cartoonland.
I just stood there in my thoughts. This has to be true. Really, it's the only thing that makes sense. What would you do if you found out you weren't real? That you were a figment of a creator's imagination? A character that lived in his head? Till he drew you, that is. This is crazy. But now I remember and understand. I'm a squish, stretch character that lives in Cartoonland.